Billy's redemption arc is a lie. Or is it? Depends on what you mean. Do you mean you like the character now? Do you still hate the character? Do you root for him? Do you still think he's a piece of shit? Do you sympathize with him now? None of this is narrative redemption. In storytelling, when an antagonistic character is redeemed, they confront or are confronted with their choices and lifestyle, either in its essence or in the consequences of their actions, and shift away from those choices and lifestyle. It originally seemed that Billy had no arc at all. That's actually what this video was going to be at first, an essay to describe how Billy didn't have any narrative redemption. However, this began to shift as more elements were observed. First, let's take a look at a well-known redemptive arc. Anakin Skywalker, aka Darth Vader. Anakin Skywalker makes the choice to hold tightly to his attachments, specifically in this instance, to his wife Padme Amidala. This choice leads him to the Sith Lord and future Emperor Palpatine, from whom he seeks This choice leads him to decimate the Jedi and embrace hate, anger, and domineering control. This leads to the death of Padme, and feeling trapped and hopeless, Anakin resigns to his fate as Darth Vader. Years later, he would discover his son, Luke Skywalker. Here, the same attachment he felt for Padme is with his son, but informed by decades of hate. Luke's mere existence and choices to not kill his father, to not bow to the Emperor, to embrace serenity, compassion, and love in order to save, instead of the hate, anger, and murder Anakin before him did. These choices are Vader being confronted with his own. He is confronted with a second chance. His son's character began to stir something within him. His redemption is solidified when Luke is being electrocuted with Force lightning by the Emperor. This is the culmination of Anakin's redemptive arc. Vader's attachment and love for his son's opposite choices holding a mirror to his own, and the consequence of his own actions are before Vader now. This time, he chooses compassion and love over power and the Emperor. He hurls the Sith Lord to his death. In contrast, at no time is Billy confronted with his amorously flippant nature. Billy is never confronted with how he speaks to people. He is never confronted in a one-to-one comparison with how he conducts himself. The Mind Flayer and its possession of him is an outside force that happens to Billy. It has nothing to do with whether he's a protagonistic or antagonistic character. The situation that Billy finds himself in is not dissimilar to Mrs. Driscoll or Heather Holloway. Billy's desire to free himself and, in the end, sharing a connection with Elle and rejecting the Mind Flayer has nothing to do about confronting his own actions. Rather, it's a man trying to free himself from an evil, but not confronting the pain he has caused. Well, not directly anyway. And this is where his redemptive arc lies. Billy is and prides himself on being the top dog. I mentioned that Billy is not directly confronted in a one-to-one fashion. Billy does have a redemptive arc, but not one that is direct like Vader's, whose conflict with his choices was tethered to his family and remained in his sphere, in his world. Billy, instead, is in conflict with an outside force, but this outside force and conflict with who he is personified in the Mind Flayer. Billy is condescending, dismissive, and domineering. We see he became the way that he is after his mother left, and he remained with his father, from whom he first learned and succumbed to this pattern of bogarting, aggressively manipulating those around him into submission. The Mind Flayer possesses Billy, no regard to his well-being or his thoughts or consent. Billy is a human, beneath him, a meat puppet to be used for his purpose. Billy is bogarted, beaten into submission. The Mind Flayer itself is Billy's mirror. Billy made it his lifestyle to inflict pain on others, to dismiss them for his greater good, benefit, and/or amusement. He is the top dog, the one who will be in control, but now he has become the victim. A victim to the same pattern that he experiences with his father, a victim to a pattern that he forged for himself. He is now in the position of Max, Lucas, Steve, just to name a few. He is now the dismissed, the domineered. The Mind Flayer may not be human, but he and Billy are the same person. So, in the Mind Flayer, Billy is confronted with himself, his lifestyle. As stated before, it's not Billy's choices directly, but the impetus and the driving force for everything he has done is there. He now experiences the burden of his victims, now that he is one himself. Billy's redemptive arc culminates at the Battle of Starcourt, when he connects with El, self-sacrificing in rejection of this malevolent entity who is just like himself, and apologizing to Max, who has suffered the brunt of his treatment over the years. At the end of the story, are you rooting for Billy? Do you like Billy? Do you sympathize with Billy? Or do you still hate him? Do you still think he's a piece of shit? The story doesn't require you to answer one way or the other. The story tells of a man filled with demons to face a demon, to see himself in that demon and reject it and his own demons in the process, to break the pattern that he experienced, the lifestyle that he replicated, and now had to experience again in a way never thought possible, and make a decision to turn from it. The story tells that Billy has a redemptive arc. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video and any other content that I have on my channel, please consider heading on over to my Patreon page and becoming a patron. If you become a patron, not only do you help support me and the channel, you also gain access to exclusive benefits and content such as early access to my videos and other perks that go along with it. So, if you are so inclined, please head on over to my Patreon page and become a patron. And remember, on all of my videos, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you're so inclined. Check out my channel for all my other content that I have on there, my short films Assassin of the Flame and Yin and Yang, reactions, essays, breakdowns, reviews, all that good stuff that's on there, much more to come. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.